Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're back again with another Alliance War video. So first things first, the wars against New Nation, a very awesome strong team, so definitely huge shout out to those guys. And also fair warning, first half of the war for first about 10 minutes is pretty much Quake gameplay only, and then the second half, last 10 minutes, is pretty much Aegon gameplay only. So if you are one of those people who do not like to watch Quake and find it boring, then you can just skip to the 10-minute mark. But if you do enjoy some nice Quake gameplay and some maybe not so standard matchups, then for sure, let's see what we have here. So first fight is Magic on Brute Force and All or Nothing node. So it's not hard to Quake a Magic. Also, it's Quake ignores the fact that it's All or Nothing node. Therefore, Quake's pretty much perfect for this fight. The problem is brute force. That means that you have to land a hit like every 6 seconds or so, and that's not the most kind of tricky thing to do. You just need to keep an eye on the brute force timer. You need to kind of count it. Now I do make a mistake here. I do eat a heavy attack and brute force is expired as well. However, we do get a parry in, we do get a tap in, and we can finish off the fight with 70% health. It definitely could have went a bit smoother, but it's not too bad overall. And yeah, also I am only using a medium set of boosts in this war for pretty much all of the war, I think. So we're not going to be boosting overall too hard just because I didn't really find the need for it. And now next fight is MCOC. Now MCOC once again is All or Nothing and fisticuffs. That means for the first half a minute in the fight I won't be able to stun him, which doesn't really change all that much for us. I just need to make sure we don't get hit, Quake and Shake in the corner, and completely forget the fact that this is All or Nothing node, because we have absolutely no intention to give this guy even a bar of power, let alone 3. And other than that, it's not too difficult. Now, evading MCOC's heavy attack with Quake can be quite tricky. I can do it for most parts. Sometimes it still catches me here and there. But yeah, so we can see here I ate the last hit, but it's not a big deal. We had fisticuffs on, and that means we can't get Incinerate debuff on us, so we have nothing to worry about there. 40 seconds in the fight, he's at 30%. We just drop the heavy because why not? And the fight is gonna be over fairly soon. Now, MCOC is one of those champions that does take a bit of getting used to if you want to use Quake against him, just because his movements are fairly kind of subtle and unorthodox, I suppose. But if you get used to his animations, then it's not a big deal at all. So exactly 1 minute pretty much, the fight is over. Nothing to worry about there. And that is it for my contribution in Tier 1. Now in Tier 2, moving on to Tier 5. That basically means these guys go unblockable fairly frequently, and I have to deal with Mysterio over there. And Mysterio is a bit trickier than most opponents when it comes to dealing on unblockable nodes, just down due to the fact that we cannot reduce his ability accuracy. That also means we cannot prevent from him going unblockable. So we do need to keep on our toes. Once again, we are applying a medium set of boosts, just because I didn't think I'm going to need much more than that. And yeah, we're going to go in with Quake and see how we do. Now, overall, when it comes to Mysterio's moveset, there's nothing too tricky over there. It's just basic hit combos. And the things that do make Mysterio fairly annoying defender is the fact that you cannot really punish his special attacks, because if you attack him after he's level 1, you're going to get your damage back, and if you're going to attack him after level 2, you have a chance to miss and basically get your face beat in. However, once again, that's the beauty of Quake. He doesn't get to throw his special attacks, and you don't want to punish them anyways, because, well, you don't have to. You don't even have to touch Mysterio for him to die. Therefore, all of those fancy abilities he has are pretty much useless when it comes to dealing with Quake. And as we can see here, 40 seconds in the fight, he's left on 20% health. We haven't even taken so much as a blocked hit, and I'm sure it must be frustrating for that poor Mysterio, but down he goes, and just another victim on the list of Quake's bullied people, I suppose. But yeah, so now we're moving on to Morningstar. Now Morningstar, once again, is fairly annoying with that bleed of her. So typically you do want to bring a bleed immune champion, but Quake doesn't hit Morningstar. Therefore, Quake doesn't care that she can place bleeds when you strike her, and that makes her pretty much perfect to go up against this Morningstar. Also, additionally, we have class advantage, so our attack is increased, so she's going to go down even faster. And yeah, that's about it. There's nothing too special about Morningstar. Now, her attack animations are a bit trickier though, just because when she starts going at you, that flail or Morningstar or whatever that weapon actually is, just goes all over the place. So you do need to get used to Morningstar's animations, because sometimes it is tricky to distinguish when she has finished her combo and when she hasn't. But as we can see, we have no such problem this time. 45 seconds in the fight, she's at 29% health, so she's a bit healthier than that Mysterio before her. But the fight is nearly over. Haven't really taken any damage, so all good in that aspect. Last set of concussion aftershock charges, and down she goes. Now, I have a highly large amount of suspicion that I probably wasn't meant to deal with this Namor, just because there were some people waiting to fight him, I guess, but nobody told me. And so I just figured to check out how well Quake can deal with this guy when he can go unblockable. He also has limited immunity at the beginning of the fight, and I will make a fairly silly mistake. At one point I will forget that he's unblockable and I'll try to parry him, which is gonna cost me a lot, which cost me definitely a lot of health, because it happened at the point when aftershocks had expired and he was taking damage from my aftershocks, and he reflected it all back to me. So basically one hit made sure I lose 60% of my health, so that hurt. That is by far the biggest mistake I have made in this war, I think, so far. And yeah, but now that the limited immunity has expired, we can see that he goes down fairly steadily. Also, the fact that he can get stunned is working to our advantage, and there's nothing much to worry about. So our sets of aftershock charges expire. He takes quite a bit of damage, and he is still only at 11 outrage charges, which means we have more than enough time before he gets that burst of power, and we should be able to finish the fight out before that, so we will not have to worry about dodging his special attacks or anything of the sort. So yeah, if your Quake is big and strong enough, Namor isn't much of an issue for her. And so we can see we just need to finish it out, and after this fight we're going to move on to Domino. Now, against Domino, in order for you to be able to Quake a Domino, you must have Black Widow synergy with you, and that is pretty much it. Also, with Black Widow synergy, Quake is actually pretty much a perfect matchup for Domino, just because you never suffer crit fail, none of your abilities fail. That means you do not take all of that fun and interactive damage, and that makes it for a fairly easy fight, because Domino by herself, there is not too much to worry about. The only thing that can occasionally catch you is if she does clip you, she can stun you, and then she can just combo you into oblivion. So there is always a bit of a risk involved when you're fighting Domino, because you don't know when and how her abilities will activate. But other than that, there's nothing too special about this fight. It does have kinetic instigators, so that kind of means that I do want to evade all of the attacks, and I do not want to attempt and parry anything pretty much, because that will give her power, and obviously if she does go past bar power, then it's not a good time for anyone. But here you can see that she's playing fairly passive, which is perfect for Quake. I think it was one of the rare times I actually managed to get 20 aftershock charges on her, and second one was like 17 or 18 as well. So that definitely is quite helpful. Means we can do more damage in less time, which is perfect. And yeah, so here's, I believe, last set, and we're finishing the fight off 1 minute. Didn't take long at all, and I'm actually quite surprised how potent Quake is without suicide masteries, because typically I like to run her with suicides. But yeah, so anyways, Quake is quite flexible in that kind of way, because you can use her with or without suicides. She still will do a great job. Now, the last fight I'm going to be using Quake for is going to be this Corvus on counter tactics, stun immunity, and whatever else he has. But it's just a Corvus. First of all, counter tactics does not matter at all, because we're not going to be attempting to strike this guy whatsoever. Stun immunity, I don't mind it honestly at all. I'm kind of like used to playing against stun immune opponents. I quite often actually prefer to play against stun immune opponents, just because then you can stay in your rhythm. You do not get these breaks, and you do not have to kind of like watch that stun meter when it's about to expire in order to be ready for the next punch. You just know that he's gonna hit you, and he's gonna try and hit it at you pretty much all the time. So we can see that slowly but surely the guy's going down. Obviously, as mini boss, he does have more health, and that means it's going to take a bit longer for us, but it's nothing kind of like too tricky, too difficult. We're definitely well within our time limit. We have 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. He's at half of health, so we're definitely damaging him quick enough. We should be able to close this fight out just with about a minute left or so, perhaps even a bit more. So aside from that, Corvus is quite easy in my opinion to Quake. Obviously it's a bit riskier than most opponents, because if he is going to smack you, it's gonna hurt a lot, because it's gonna be guaranteed crit. But other than that, his animations are fairly clear, and there's a good kind of like pause gap in them. I don't think they are like the fastest hit animations, and the AI is not all that aggressive either. So minute and a half left, he's at 10%, and here down he goes with minute and 20 seconds left. So we managed to close this fight out even quicker than I thought. And now we're gonna be starting to use Aegon. Now I could have used Quake for this, but I did intend to use my Aegon for the Thing final boss. And for that I wanted to ramp up his combo meter a bit more, and that is almost going to be my undoing in this fight, and that's also gonna give me a bit of trouble later on. But anyway, so it's a King Root. It's nothing kind of like too difficult in this fight. The only problem is that I'm not running suicides. I have Aegon and 0 combo and only on medium boosts. He's also bleed immune, so I can't spam my level 2s to increase my damage output. Now that does mean that I am in fact in a bit of a danger of timing out, especially considering that this guy has a recovery node associated with this mini boss and strike back, so I really do need to be careful. And first 40 seconds he's still at a 92% health, but our damage output should pick up. The higher is our combo meter, we should be critting a lot more often, so I'm not particularly worried about time just about right now. We're at 48 combo, and we can see that I'm starting to deal some reasonable decent amount of damage, and there's not much to worry about. And now I just need to punish this level 1. Still 2 minutes left on the clock. He's at 80%. He's going down quite slow, but we're managing fine. I'm still not worried. Everything's fine. Aegon will definitely pick out his damage output, pick up the pace, and we should be able to counter this guy without much hassle at all. However, there we go. However, I mess up and I lose my combo, and that spells a lot of trouble for me, because now I only have a minute and 20 seconds left. He's at 75%. My combo meter is reset. I did not have any fights with Aegon before, so that means we pretty much start from scratch all over again. And at this point I'm panicking quite a bit. I'm like, yeah, this is going to probably be a timeout, and it's gonna be my arrogance to blame for this, just because I should have probably put on Suicide Masteries just to increase my damage output by quite a bit, and I would be in much better kind of situation than I am currently. And I'm just looking at the clock, and that level 1 animation takes its time, and I'm just worried and like what I'm gonna do. But after I get to 50 hits, I believe I can get hit on purpose and activate my combo shield if I drop my heavy attack, and that is exactly what I'm going to try and do. I'm gonna try and rely on this combo shield. I'm gonna get hit on purpose now here. I have the 6 Furies, I have combo meter intact. I should be able to close this fight out with quite a bit of damage, and we can see that massive chunks of that health is going down. And there are 18 seconds on the clock. I'm at 60, 970 combo. He's at 17%. This is going to be a close and nail biter. One of the kind of like closest fights I have had in a while. 6 seconds, 5, 4, 3, and we finished him off. We had 2 seconds left on the clock, and we did squeeze out a win in this fight. We didn't lose any attack bonus. It would be also quite embarrassing to lose to King Root, but thankfully we did come through. And now this is fully immune Yondu mini boss, and I figured I might as well just try and amp up my Aegon a bit more. It would be a really easy job for Quake just to take this guy on, not much to worry about. But I do fight Yondus quite often, and it's not too tricky of a fight. It's definitely not like the best placement in my opinion. And even though the node does have critical resistance, at the time I didn't think I would mind it too much. Just because it would help me gain my combo meter up a bit higher for the Thing boss. And I'm gonna make a first mistake here. I mistook his special 1 for a heavy attack, which is a rookie mistake, and I ate the level 1. Luckily, we didn't get bleed on us, and even if we did, we could shrug it off with a critical hit, but I'm still at 54%, so I'm not too worried at this point. Just need to pick up my pace a bit, because once again, 40 seconds in the fight, he's quite up in the health, and I definitely need to increase my damage output here, which also would not be a problem had I put on my Suicide Masteries. But hey, so here's another mistake. I'm getting a bit sloppy. I was doing these fights also at work, kind of like in between things, and so I was trying to rush a bit, which almost became my downfall in this fight. But yeah, so now we are at 43 combo plus 62 that we carried over from the previous fight. We should be hitting quite a bit harder. That is definitely good news for us. And minute and 39 seconds left, and I eat another combo, and I'm like, Jesus, I really need to pay more attention. I do need to be more careful. But I do drop my level 2, and hardly any of it crit though under those Furies. So he's still at 50% health. I have about half left on my timer, a minute and 20 seconds at this point. I'm at 35% health. On the bright side, that does activate our Courage Mastery, which gives us extra 10% attack, which is cool. And yeah, now I basically just need to pick up my pace, hopefully get some good crits in and close out this fight. So our combo meter did suffer, so we did have to reset it, and we're at 38 hits plus 62 carried over. So we're basically at exactly 100 combo at this point. But that crit resistance, definitely you can feel it. You crit a lot less often against this guy. And yeah, so I am once again in a fairly kind of like close spot. It's definitely not as bad as it was against King Groot, but definitely I also don't have too much time to waste. Cannot afford to lose my combo meter once again. I only have 35% health left, so can't probably eat another combo. That would be the end of me. And yeah, but still, I'm just gonna try my best to finish off the fight, and hopefully nothing bad will come of it. So at this point, 18 seconds on the clock, he's at 7%, 6%. We do another dash back intercept, perfect, and finished the fight at 98 combo. So we're gonna carry over 75% of that. But then I had to wait till the thing boss gets unlinked. And now at this point, my Aegon is at 134 combo. I did put on Suicide Masteries. I did not activate any boosts aside from health boost, because the trick on beating Thing with Aegon is knowing exactly how hard you're allowed to hit. And that is also going to be my downfall in this fight, because typically when I fight Thing without boosts and Suicide Masteries, I don't have that high combo. So what is happening in this fight? I'm starting it out pretty much perfectly. I have nothing to complain. I haven't eaten any hits. I'm not activating his protection. I'm dealing a decent, good amount of damage. We're critting a bunch. Everything is looking promising so far. So I also can control his rock stacks fairly well, either by hitting in his block or alternating how I finish my combos with medium attack, and then I can do a 6-hit combo or light attack, and then it is a 5-hit combo. Not making any mistakes there. I can surely also hit his block now and then, because Aegon does solid amount of damage through the block, which is perfect, which is pretty much the reason why Aegon can solo this fight. And now you can see that we're definitely doing a nice amount of damage. He's at 62% now. He's 57% now with 2 minutes left on the clock, so I'm well on the time. However, here is the problem. I start to hit too hard, and that is kind of my downfall. I had done a Thing boss with Aegon without boosts on Suicide Masteries before that, and I had gotten my solos in. But the problem was the fact that my combo meter previously was only starting out at like 40 hits or 30 hits. This time I had it at 134. So I started to hit too hard, too early. I started to trigger the protection, and we can see now that he's hardly going down. We're not making much of a dent at him, like whatsoever. Every time I do hit at him, and if a medium crits, which they often will do, he triggers protection, and that is just pretty much halting my progress, and we're dealing no damage. So I had to alter my plan. I did want to basically lose my combo, but my brain twisted its head around, and I figured that I'm going to activate my combo shield as I try to lose my combo, which is obviously counterproductive. And yeah, so everything pretty much goes down from this point. I will not die, however, I will time out. This is my definite mistake, so now I'm gonna note, like, if you run Suicide Masteries and if you don't have any combo on Aegon, you can finish thing off, or if you have like 30-40 hit on your combo, it's also perfectly fine. The problem is if you start on too high of combo, you're gonna start to hit too hard. So my advice probably is only use 1 or 2 points in one of the Suicide Masteries, bring down your attack by 20%, by 30%, something like that, and then you should have no problem soloing this fight. I definitely learned my lesson. I will look, I will use it in the next time I get to meet Thing as a boss. Luckily, this war was already in the bag. In fact, this will be the only death/timeout in my battle group, which brings great shame to the family. But yeah, that also pretty much is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something from it. Aegon can definitely solo the Thing. You just need to be careful how hard you hit. And yeah, that will do for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, learn from it, learn from my mistakes, and I'm gonna see you guys soon.